Hello, everybody. Excuse me. It's Cedric Goodman. I just received an email from a friend of mine, and it appears that the 2012 campaign is underway here in New Brunswick. And one thing I'm okay with, let me just state, is debating, having a normal civil debate or argument on the issues. And there's going to be a published story tomorrow, or a continuation of the story of Barry DeLoach being murdered here in the city of New Brunswick. Those who've been following the story know what I'm talking about. It's been kind of heated, kind of embarrassing for the administration because they failed to address residents' concerns and things like that. And I've been a strong advocate and a strong proponent downtown on a monthly basis, and for the past 4 years, I would say, on issues like wards, on issues like Martin Luther King Jr. street name changed that I proposed. I've also proposed affordable housing for residents, jobs for residents, those who are convicted with a felony that could be used as a reentry program for them, construction jobs I proposed, all in writing. And I've been very critical and cynical of some of the mayor's policies, especially his urban policy, because I see a lot of the problems in the urban community, which is contained. Okay, the suburbs of New Brunswick don't experience the chaos that we experience here and have experienced for the past 20, 30, 40 years. But I was quoted in the newspaper. Actually, I prepared a press release, and I gave it to this gentleman by the name of Bob Macon. He's a reporter. And one thing I've learned as a community activist and as a person, a political person now, I guess, since I'm a so-called, everyone wants to label me a political person, I've learned to do my own press releases because reporters always twist your words or put their own words and make you sound ignorant, try to make you sound unintelligent. So, we learn things, we evolve and we grow. The press, we know its history when it comes to the African American community has been a part of the problem as well, because we're never profiled in the media in the right light. It's always something very negative and stereotype. But tomorrow you're going to read, and I'll go into some other details on my next video about the release. But tomorrow you're going to read in the newspaper my words, my quotes, my press release, and also the mayor's spokesman, Bill Bray, who, by the way, who does not live in the city of New Brunswick, never been a resident of the city of New Brunswick, comment, reply, and attack me. So I wanted to read you the actual facts so that you'll know what your boy is about and what I stand for and things like that, so that you won't be fooled, because this is what the game of politics entails. It entails attacking your credibility. And one thing I can thank Almighty God for is preparing me and giving me the training that I received over the years to become the man I am. A man of integrity, a man of character. I don't say one thing and do another. That's propaganda, rumors, political words. That's what people do to attack your character, because they don't want you to get votes, or they don't want people to support you politically. But anyway, Bill Bray in his comments attacked my nonprofit. I created a nonprofit 2 years ago in the efforts and attempt to become an additional service provider to service the African American community here in New Brunswick. The city spokesman decided, now mind you, he's sanctioned by the mayor. He can't say anything or do anything that the mayor don't approve. So I want you to understand, when people are behind the scenes, they control and dictate things. So that's why you gotta be careful of who you talk to and who you deal with, because you don't know where they came from, who they are, and what their motives are. But I've learned that in my progression and in my political maturity. So the reporter put words in the newspaper tomorrow that I didn't say. He put his own words in his own language. My words are in my own press release and can be backed up. All right, but Bill Bray says that Cedric asked for $1 million. In the intent, in the way he worded it, was though I asked for $1 million just to give me $1 million. It's not true. The fact of the matter is, I wrote as an outline to the mayor, the mayor's business administrator, Tom Laughlin. I wrote them an outline to discuss February 2016, as you can see, 2016, and it basically is about what I wanted to do concerning my nonprofit. So I'm going to read some of it to you so that you'll have the facts, okay? Because I don't believe in begging. I don't believe in selling my soul to the devil. I'm not that kind of man. Let other people do that, okay? I don't have any programs in the city because Cedric won't go along to get along, because it's a dictatorship here, in my view. It's not honest, open, fair, equal for business, for people like me who stand on merits and honesty and integrity, who want to do the right thing. You have to go along, play the game, get along. All right, but that's, to me, is very insulting to someone who is, to anybody who wants to just honestly open and live their life and, practice, have a business or do whatever in any city, in any state or anything. I'm not on nobody's plantation, okay? I don't believe in that. My mother and my family, the people in my family suffered and died for this country like everybody else. And we deserve to be treated fairly. But let me read some of the article because I only have 15 minutes on YouTube and I want to get it in, okay? It says, "Hello, Tom, how are you? 2 weeks ago, I met with Jim. Jim is the mayor, Mayor Jim Cahill, to discuss my concerns about the upcoming budget and potential tax increases facing residents. They were going to raise taxes, which they did, and the cuts coming down from the governor, Governor Christie. All right, I'm going to skip down and tell you what I want to do. It says, in addition, we also discussed the possibility for the city to partnership and collaborate, not me work for them, collaborate, with the BC Community Development Corporation, which is my nonprofit organization, to assist me in our mission to become an additional service provider within the city of New Brunswick. This will provide the platform for us to become an additional resource that will provide jobs and additional services for city residents. He also advised me to submit my projected plan and proposed budget." Now, many of you may not know this, but the Department of Community Affairs is a state agency that provides grants for nonprofits, profit organizations such as mine. The grant that I requested to be allocated to my nonprofit is mandated by the state for the city to give out. They're supposed to distribute that money to organizations, which they do. However, they selectively give it out to who they want to, who play ball, who's in bed, in the bed with the city and things like that. I'm not in bed with anybody, so I don't have any programs. Okay, we are currently working with the Center for Strategic Urban Community Leadership, and we are certified with the DCA, Department of Community Affairs, as a CDC developer on SAGE. CDC stands for Community Development Corporation. SAGE is the state's website that you have to go register with and apply for, whether it's municipal grants for the municipality, which is the city, or community block grants, such as what I applied for, the CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant. That grant you can research online as well and see what its use is for. It's for you can use it for the demolition of a building or a project, the construction of it, and the purchase of it, which I requested. Okay? And it says that I will be developing a relationship with the Rutgers University Public Affairs Department, New Brunswick, tomorrow, and will be submitting and meeting with private sector board members of the following entities: Johnson & Johnson Foundation, DevCo, Alan Rockoff, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Howard Jack Morris of Edgewood Properties, the Bristol Myers Squibb Executive Committee, James Cornelius, and or county and other possible fundraising sources. Okay, it's all it's all here. Okay, on the second page of this, I proposed a budget for him. Now, 2 years ago, well, almost 2 years ago, okay, in a few months it'll be 2 years. It was February 2nd, February 16th. But the budget administrative cost that I submitted this was all for an outline for discussion, because I'm not a grant writer, so I wanted the input from the mayor. to see if they were really genuinely, seriously interested in allowing me, my nonprofit, to service the African American community. Because in New Brunswick, everything is catered to the Latino community. And when we need services such as USF, LAHEAP, anything else, we have to go to the Puerto Rican Action Board, or PRAB. Now, mind you, I'm not hating on PRAB. I'm trying to imitate what they're doing, but only for, or primarily for, the African American community, which is underserved. And a lot of African American people feel partial when they go there. They're treated differently. So I felt as though if we developed and created a new nonprofit and another service provider, we could address those needs. All right. The executive director salary that I proposed for myself was $140,000. That may sound like a lot, but it's not, because the current market for executive directors of nonprofits and community development, economic development directors is from $120,000 to $165,000. And that salary can be researched on Career Builders when you apply for a job. It's where I got the market salary from. The problem is that there's no African Americans making that kind of money in the city of New Brunswick except Robert Rawls, who is fire department director. Okay? The grant writer would be, now mind you, my operational and administrative cost was $500,000. All this money is not the city's money. It's grant money coming from the Department of HUD, Housing Urban Development, as well as the Department of Education. And for my programs, I would apply for money from the Department of Education. The Department of Education has funding for SES providers, supplemental education services, who could be a nonprofit, for-profit. Those businesses and organizations are rampant in the city of New Brunswick. PRAB, Urban Development, Urban New Brunswick, New Brunswick Urban League, New Brunswick Tomorrow, Puerto Rican Action Board, all the churches here in New Brunswick all receive grant money from these entities, from the state, from HUD, from the Department of Education. Okay, and the money's circulated in the city of New Brunswick. Okay, but again, remember, you have to be in bed and play ball to get along. Okay, but they're supposed to be unbiased in giving out that money, but they don't, and that's where the problem seems to be when it comes down to me. I'm honestly thinking that the city will do the right thing and let anybody open up a business, anybody do what they want to do as far as the community, serving the community, but they want to control it. They want to control everything. So they want to marginalize the African American community, in my regards, in my view, because we don't have our own service provider. You know, we have to go to other organizations while they make the money, while we don't have jobs, while we can't service our own community. So here also it shows you what I pledged. I wanted them to pledge. Okay, let me just outline real quick. I have 2 minutes. 5 program coordinators at $40,000 each. Rent would be probably $3,000 for the building. The building that I wanted to purchase also, the building was the Shack, 159-161 Troop Avenue. Everybody from New Brunswick who knows the Shack know it's been vacant for 10, 15 years. The grant money that I requested in my proposal was to help me buy the Shack, knock it down, and rebuild it for us. They don't, in his reply in the paper tomorrow, he's not going to tell you all that. But also I asked for an additional $1 million, okay? Well, the additional $1 million was going to be proposed over X amount of years to help us maintain our stability, develop our action plan, and maintain ourselves for several years until I got up and running and my grant funding resources was stable, which basically mean I was getting grant money on a regular basis to sustain the operations of the nonprofit. So the city is smart. They put rumors out as though I'm trying to be slick or get something for free or beg them for something. Not the case. As you can see, the grant money was going to come from CDBG block grant, New Brunswick, MBT CP 2010 home grant, CHAD 2010, and sharing available resources efficiently grant from the DCA and HUD. As you can see, it says HUD. Okay? All right? So when you get the paper tomorrow, remember I did this YouTube and I want you to reference it because they're trying to attack your boy.